Hello everybody and welcome here to Dover Motor Speedway here for round 3 of the Prestige Racing Cup Series playoffs. Here once again from Dover, Delaware here at the Monster Mile. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here at the Monster Mile. No Matthew Prochaski, no Peter Terrio. Me once again here in the HVTV broadcast booth. Go ahead and take our cameras back down to the track here and start to look at some of your fastest drivers here in practice as practice starts to slowly wound down here. Deacon Dorian Davis, your points leader here on Perry Road in this 88 WeatherTech machine. Currently fastest in practice, followed by Jacob Hoskins in the 45 machine. Gio Turpin here in the 42. He's shown a lot of speed throughout the season. He's sitting back here in P3, technically racing for a championship, but did miss a couple races. So Wyatt Thompson back here in the 77 is going to be P4 with Brandon Kiger. Back here in the 85, you see him exiting pit road. Show you your top here on the side here on our scoring and timing. We'll go back here to Gabriel Ngoli. Showed some speed last week at Kansas. Unfortunately, didn't get the finish I think that 55 wanted, but Bill has shown a lot of speed here at Dover, and hopefully he can continue to do that. Looking back, some of your drivers still racing for a championship. Benjamin Bushnell back here in P7, Wyatt Youngblood in the 1 machine. Here back in 8th place in this MLB prospect coverage machine. Oliver Quinney in the 41 in the new scheme for this driver, I believe. Move back in P9. That case here in the 66 back here in P11. Brian White, P14. And TJ Hanley right now, bottom of the charts, unfortunately, here in this 13 TH Designs machine. But I assume that TJ is going to get something figured out here with 7 minutes left in practice. Brandon Kiger actually goes top of the board in this 85 machine. Good lap for that Toyota Camry. Speaking of, playoffs, so let's go ahead and go through your playoffs and your points and all that, the good stuff. Go ahead and put this car on someone on track, and we'll go ahead and do a rundown of points. So Kendorian Davis comes in with your points lead with a 28-point gap to Christian Zarate, who's moved himself up in the P2 in points. And now I don't see Christian in this session, so that might be something to look for. TJ Hanley moved himself up to P3 after that really good run there at Kansas, meaning I believe his first podium of the season, and that's the best time to do it, is in the playoffs. Gabriel Ngoli moves down a spot to P4 in points. Brandon Kiger stays placed back there in P5 in points. Wyatt Youngblood will move down a spot to P6. Brian White down 3 spots to 7th. Joseph Enright down 6 spots to 8th. Zach Case will move up a couple spots up in the 9th. Benjamin Bushnell to 10th. Oliver Quinney to 11th. Justin Wilkes to P12. Justin is also P12 in practice right now. Gio Turpin P13 after missing last week's race, along with Nicholas Amon, Wyatt Thompson, and Jordan Fisher. And I think Jordan, I think I saw some info that Jordan just will not be coming with us for the rest of the season. And that's very unfortunate to see that out of 39, because obviously Jordan was basically the guy to beat in and day out here in the Prestige Cup Series. It's kind of him before they left the series. It was him and Jacob Quill who were really up here dominating a lot of these races, and unfortunately we don't have either of them now to come out here and show these drivers how to get it done here. But that has opened the door for some people, like the 25 and even this 55 out on track here. Currently P5 and P6 on track. No, P6 and P7, my apologies. And allow these guys to step up to the plate, get some more good finishes, and continue to drive their way through the field. And looking at this 55, this is something that's going to be easily done here at Dover. Talking about Dover, It's a very difficult track to run at. I mean, you really have to hit your marks the whole time. You really have to be on your A game. Let's go ahead and ride on board with this #1 machine of White Youngblood. You really want to get that car down to the bottom. You not to wash up into the wall like that, but didn't really burn a lot of speed off of the one machine there. Go down there and once again, out the bottom, wash it up. Don't get in the wall. There's a good exit of 2. Come back down there, paint that bottom line up the track here. And Wyatt doing a really good job here in these couple laps that he's showing us. On board with Thompson here, a little bit quicker up the board. You're seeing him run a little bit of a different line, kind of running this middle. You also have to look here. I mean, he is behind a car here. And listening into practice, it sounds like dirty air is going to be a huge problem here at Dover for these drivers. You know, dirty air with the new next gen update has really been bad everywhere. But now, you know that you look at a track like Dover where you really need the whole track to kind of be fast. So like you see them going all the way down here to the bottom, trying to hook it down there on the bottom and wash it all the way up to the wall. You know, when you're behind the driver, it's going to not want to rotate, and you're literally just going to have to continue to walk it up, and it'll force some drivers to have to back out or set up the corner differently to stay behind someone, or they're just going to wash up and hit the wall, give themselves damage. And that's something you will probably see from time to time in the race, and that might cause some cautions, because if you got a guy behind you, he hits the wall, I mean, it's really easy to get caught up and get stacked up here on the exit of 2 and 4, just because, you know, when you hit the wall, I mean, you slow down a lot, right? And especially here in the sim, you know, if you hit it in the right spot, the wall will grab you and kind of hold on, and you're gonna have to yank it off the wall. And when that happens, I mean, you really do slow down a lot, and especially on the exit of 2 and 4, it's gonna be, you know, chaotic to say the least. Eli McDonald out on track, P14 currently in practice. But, you know, for me, I don't really, you know, when it comes to Dover, I'm not even going to look at qualifying times, because Dover is such a driver's track, in my opinion. You have to be patient with the car. You have to know when to push and when not to push. Because if you push too early, I mean, it's going to be a long stint if you burn off the tires here at Dover. So, I always love to, you know, see how these drivers set up the cars, how they do race pace. Not only one of my favorite races to call, one of my favorite tracks to race on the sim, especially in this next gen car, because it is a driver's track. I feel like you have to be patient. You have to keep the car on the track, which I think is hard to do. Obviously, you see the 73 with a lot of damage here. DJ Hanley still out on track, trying to improve his lap time here in practice. We'll continue to see, and I think drivers try to figure out what they need to do to set up this car. Obviously, qualifying is going to be really crucial here. We talked about the dirty air. We talked about that, and not only is dirty air going to be a factor, it's just really hard to pass here at Dover, just because everybody has to run the same line. If you want to try to get around the driver that you think you're faster than, you really have to move the car around. You know, maybe, you know, you see a lot of drivers coming down there and trying to get down to the bottom as soon as they can. In order to pass, you're going to have to try to use maybe that middle lane. Maybe go up top and try to arc it down, get a run down the straight or something like that. Passing, if we have a driver that's good at passing, it's really going to help when it comes to that sort of thing. as we approach the end of practice. Looks like at number 85, Brandon Kiger will be your fastest in practice. With that, you'll see the ticker climb down to 0, and we'll get ready to start your qualifying for tonight's race here at Dover. Remember, these drivers have 5 minutes to set 2 laps here and try to, get a good lap time out. And obviously, we talked about how crucial qualifying is going to be here tonight at Dover because, of how hard it is to pass, how the dirty air affects these cars. So, see if Kiger can come out here and run a good lap. One into turn 4. I go right now be P5 with now P6 with a 22.7. Not probably the lap we wanted, but here the 45 of Hoskins takes your pole. You see there on your timing and scoring. They bring them in Bushnell on track, and that number 25 machine. And he'll go P4, a good lap for the 25 machine. And I'll say this 25 has been lighting it up recently. Now, maybe he hasn't gone up there and won a race yet, but he's really impressed me here with his speed, at least in qualifying. His come up here, I really thought he was and it's no disrespect to Benjamin, but he just didn't really have the speed in the regular season, and he was kind of a driver I wrote off as someone who might make the playoffs because he raced every race, but he's definitely turned up the heat here in the playoffs. Obviously, now he's moved up to P3 in qualifying. So, continue to look at this 25. He's a threat, and I'll say that right there. But he'll go up to P3. Gio Turpin out, completing his first lap. See what the 42 can run here. Obviously, with the way that they run the points here, I think Gio is basically mathematically eliminated from any sort of championship run here, but it's always nice to come out here and try to race for wins. He'll go P2. Good lap for Gio Turpin, a 22.479. Currently, your pole is a 22.424. And only one driver left on track here for qualifying, and it is the 13 of Hanley. He's currently P13, so I'm not the qualifying. I think this 13 wanted out of here. Obviously, ran really well at Kansas last week, and obviously Dover, completely different from Kansas in basically every way. He'll move himself up to P10 now with that second lap being a little bit quicker. Obviously, Kansas, completely different in every way. The way you drive it, the way it handles, the way the track is, and everything, right? Kansas, you can kind of move around and put the car where you want to get speed. Here at Dover, you really have to be disciplined in the line placement and where you put the car, and it's just, I mean, in every shape and way, different. So just like that, looks like we have no one else out on track. Everybody has set a qualifying lap, and that will mean Jacob Hoskins in that number 45 machine will take the pole here from Dover. Geo Turpin will round out your front row. There's that case. Oliver Quinney will be your fast four. So 150 laps here from Dover Motor Speedway will allow these drivers to get ready for the race here. And obviously there's a lot of tools in the shed. I think here on HVTV, I really want to really show, like, and explain, you know, there's a lot of tools in the shed that these drivers can use to set up the car for the race trim, for the qualifying trim. And so we'll wait on some drivers to get that all said and done. Obviously, we have 15 cars who showed up for tonight's race, so obviously we would have liked to have a little bit more, but 15 I think is still plenty to put on a good show for you all at home. I think we do have everybody but one car on track, so we'll go ahead and get your starting lineup here. Brought to you by High Velocity TV. So sitting on the pole for tonight's race is going to be that 45 of Jacob Hoskins with that 22.42 alongside Geo Turpin in the 42. Going to round out that row 1. Row 2 is going to be Zach Case alongside Oliver Quinney in the 41. Benjamin Bushnell will be P5 here with that 25 machine alongside Wyatt Youngblood in the 1 machine. Alongside Kendorian Davis, my apologies, Brian White, P7, Wyatt Youngblood going to round out that row 4 and P8. And then rounding out your top 10, Gabriel Ngoli, TJ Hanley in the 13 machine. Rounding out the field for tonight's race, Anthony Alex in the 40 machine showed a lot of speed last week alongside Eli McDonald back there in P11. Outside Brandon Kiger with Justin Wilkes back there in 14. Then rounding out your field back there, the 77 of Wyatt Thompson. And that will do it here. Taking a look at your race weather for tonight's race. 69 degrees, 75 track temp with about 29% humidity with a little bit of wind. So great night of racing for everybody. And we'll go back and look at your race day results here. 40 lap stage, 150 laps, 4 tires on here, but that's not what's going to matter now. Is we're green here from Dover. Back to the line, give it to the 42 of Geo Turpin. Geo Turpin will take your lead away here on these first couple laps, and he's already trying to set sail here from at Dover. Took really good advantage of that bottom lane, trying to get out in front here with the 45 all over the rear end of that 42 machine. Not trying to give it up, but you see the dirty air already starting to come into effect. You saw the 45 really wash up out of the corner there, back there in turn 3, 1 and 2. You're starting to see Gio start to pull away a little bit. We talked about it. Clean air is going to be king. You see the 42 trying to pull away from the rest of the field. You've already seen everybody get single file. That case back here in the 66. Also, they had a new paint, but unfortunately not loading in for us here in the broadcast booth. But I did see, you know, this 41 back here Trying to get around the 66. The 41, kind of one of the first drivers to move around here. Got to pick a little bit of a different lane. You see him running high here in the corner, trying to get a good run off. See right there, this is exactly what you want to do. You're going to get side by side. And try to complete this pass as the yellow is out. Like Justin Wilkes maybe with an issue here. Down here in 1 and 2. Take a look and see what happened to this 93 machine. We see him down here and coming down here, and I believe this is 3 and 4. Oh man, it looks like that car's not driving what he wants to. He just gets loose out of 4, and we've seen this happen a lot in practice, and I mean, it's something you're going to see a lot. There's a bump out of 4 here with the new update to Dover. It's like right around here. There's like a bump. And right there, as soon as it snaps, we'll go back and show you. I mean, the second it snaps is where he hits that bump there out of 3 and 4. Right about there. And you just see it snaps around on the 93. And good for him to lock it down, try to save it. I don't think he has a lot of damage on this machine. I don't think. Obviously, everybody was good. I mean, he has a little bit of left front. I don't think that will affect it that much, but good for that 93 to lock it down here, but that will bring out the caution here on lap 6. Obviously, I don't think that's enough to really bring anybody down pit road. We're still kind of getting up the speed here at Dover. Obviously, it takes a couple laps, I feel like, to get up to full speed here at Dover just because of how tight the banking is. You know, you think of it as one of the concrete tracks, kind of like a Bristol-esque, but obviously a lot bigger than Bristol. A mile in length here at Dover Motor Speedway versus the half-mile banked track over in Bristol, Tennessee. But I always kind of think of it in the same way. Obviously, it drives completely different than Bristol, just because since it is bigger, you can't really move around the track like you would at Bristol Motor Speedway. You know, at Bristol, you can kind of run the top, get a good run off the corner, and everything else. And you can also run the bottom, right? Try to be a little bit better in the center. But here at Dover, you're going to see, obviously, we saw it there in those first couple laps. The bottom's going to be the lane to go. You can move around like Oliver Quinney was to get around the 66. But at the end of the day, the bottom's going to be where you want to be to save tires, to put yourself in a good spot to go out here and race for a win. Obviously, you can go up there and run a little bit higher, but I feel like, you know, you have to conserve the tires. Dover is one of those tracks that I feel like tire saving matters the most, just because you have to really use up this car no matter, like, what line you use, right? I mean, just how much load you have to put into the car, how much G's are going into the car. It just uses up the tires, and whoever can save them the best, I feel like, is always going to be that guy. Obviously, clean air and track positions also really good. You can hold on to a good spot if you have the track position, or if you have the lead in that clean air. You can really, you know, take those advantages as much as you can. I feel like if we can get a green flag run here, that tire wear will start to come into effect. But you do see the pace car has their lights off up on top of the iRacing machine. Means we will be going green this time by, and we'll flip the front row here. So now it'll be Gio Turpin on the bottom, the 45 at Hoskins up top, flipping the start of the race, as we saw that 42 take the lead early from the start here. You see the pace car take a hard left turn on the pit road. It's gonna be a 42, 45 Toyota Ford front row. Move back into the restart zone of green here from Dover. Pretty good jump by the 42 to get that lead back, but the battling out back in Noreen Davis trying to get around the 45. You saw the 45 getting the ball there. The one's going to try to take advantage here, but no. Did not make it happen. Here comes TJ Henley trying to make a move on the top. The jump back in line. Oh, the 88 super squirrely. It's going to allow the 13 to get on the inside at 88. And Doran's going to have to defend up top. make it happen. So that'll put Kendorian at potential being to attacking the 66. No, gets back to single file. Now the 77 and Wyatt Thompson trying to make a move around the 66. Not going to make it happen. And you're going to see a lot of defensive driving on these restarts. If you put yourself in a bad spot, you can get really taken advantage of really quickly. Zach Case underneath the 88, and we saw that exact move get done to the 66. Zach already starting to do some homework and started to figure out where he can put this machine. Unfortunately, couldn't make the pass on Kendorian. Kendorian doing a good job defending on that top lane. That's gonna have to try again. And I like to see this. I mean, obviously we do get that stage caution at lap 40, so we're about 25 to go, just a little over 25 to go in stage 1. I don't mind some of these guys moving around, trying to figure out where they can go here early, knowing that they'll get that caution. You know, if they burn their stuff up, they can kind of get bailed out by free caution to come down and take those new tires. And so I don't really mind what Zach is doing here. Moving up the track, trying to figure out like how the momentum works at Dover, how the car is going to carry, you know, the cross weight down out of the exit of the corner. Obviously, he's just trying to find that clean air. You know, having two cars right there in front of him definitely affects the aero on the 66. And he's trying to be off-center to the two cars in front there. You see him enter a little bit higher. I was gonna follow the 88 now that I'm trying to show you guys, but he was entering a little bit higher and then dropping down and trying to get it in that clean wake of air. Yeah, just like this. A little bit higher. And we'll drop down underneath the 88, try to get the clean wake, but no. Did not a good job that time. We're gonna get up into the outside wall. And that's what I'm talking about, that dirty air. Just, you know, it's going to be one of the keys to watch here. Because you saw the 66 get up in the wall. Here comes Wyatt Thompson on the bottom trying to take advantage. Side by side, the 66 in the wall once again. And give the advantage of the 77. Going down here into 3 and 4. 77 will clear. Give him that P6 position. Comes to 25. Bushnell going to try to make a move here. And like I said, as soon as you make that mistake there, you're really in a bad spot to get taken advantage of. Now, side by side with the 25, that case is starting to fade. 25 will clear. Go up here, further up on top. DJ Hanley's moved his way up into the third place position, up 7 spots. You know, I talked about DJ not looking very good in qualifying and in practice trim, but he's really found something here early in this race, getting himself all the way up here inside the podium spot. And around Oliver Quinney. Now Kendorian Davis trying to get around Oliver Quinney. Oliver with a aggressive block there on the 88 machine. Really forced Kendorian to check up. Now this allows the 77 of Wyatt Thompson to join this little 3-car battle. We saw Quinney. I mean, he's doing it a little bit higher than everybody else. And I think, you know, now I think the 88 is just a little bit quicker. So right there, you see that. He runs a little bit higher, drops down in front on the exit, and it forces the 88 to check up there. It's either run me over or check up. And right now, Kendorian's trying to be patient. He knows he has that stage caution. He doesn't want to tear up his car this early. Obviously, no fast repairs for these drivers. So, and because of the 88 having to check up, it's allowed the 77 to Thompson to try to make a move on the 88. Will drop back in line. Actually saw the 88 go high that time. Try to get the run off. Try to get back to the 44. The 41, my apologies. Oh, you see the 41 under the wall. You saw the 88 get squirrely. I mean, they're just... I mean, this is what you love to see at Dover. I mean, just depending on how you race the track, you get differing conditions on the car. Like you saw the 41 get tight, wash it up the track. You saw the 88 get loose and had to kind of back it off. It's super cool to see, you know, that it's not like a planar condition. It's so different depending on how you drive the car, how the tires react. Knowing once again, forced to back out. Norton's gonna get a run here. Gonna get side by side down here in the turn 1 and 2. Cannot complete the pass here. You know, all of us really done a good job learning how this stop works. And like I said, I don't mind doing this, right? Now look, I mean, he's doing a good job defending on top. He's going to get loose, going to allow the 88 to clear. But once again, I don't mind guys experimenting here early. Going to get that caution in about 12 laps. What you need to see, obviously, you don't want to be doing that, tearing up your car. Oh, the 25 is going to get loose, going to get in the back of the 41. Caution will wave. See what happened. I mean, we saw it live. We saw the 41 get upset. See what happened between this 25 and the 41. I think this is where it all started. Oh. So that was all, I mean, it looks like just racing, but go back and look at this. So you obviously the 41 get up into the outside wall here out of 4. It kind of slows everybody up right here. Kind of checks everybody up. 25 trying to give the 41 room. 41's going to get up into the wall, and then because the 25 had to check up, you see the 85 getting up in the right rear of that 25 machine. And unfortunately hook him up into the 41, and then obviously the Tiger gets caught up in this pretty badly. Actually gives him a meatball here, so unfortunate for all those drivers involved, but now this is gonna be interesting. Will drivers come down pit road here and take tires, or are they gonna stick it out here for the stage? If I'm further on in the back, right, I think the track position means a little bit more. I would, you know, if you can just limp it around here for these last, what, 7 laps that when we go green, I'd come down, take some tires, and flip the stage here, so you'll be out in front when we go green. I think that's exactly what Wyatt Thompson wanted to do. He looks pretty quick, but he'll be that first car out of pit road. So he's going to flip the stage. If I'm the 77, I'm not going to push. Try to go win this stage or something. Keep those tires cool. Keep the tires under you, because you're going to stay out here when we get the stage caution at lap 40. Just be content where you're running right now. He's going to come out P7. If you can get a spot without burning your stuff up, then yeah, I would definitely take the opportunity to. But do not use up your tires here with these last couple of laps. asked to refresh. We're gonna try to refresh our paints one more time here, the broadcast booth. Like we just do not have the right scheme for that 66 machine. Which is not refreshing, Zach. I don't know what to say. But we'll see the pace car hook a hard left down pit road. Gio Turpin. And once again, the 45 of Hoskins. Gonna take us back down the green. The start at stage 2. Good jump out of the 42 right there. Get that lead back. TJ Hanley will move himself up into that P2 spot. You see the 45 get up into the outside wall. And I think I think that what helped as well is that he started on that line with Gio, and I, you know, at least as a race car driver myself here on the sim, I feel like it's easier being back in third to get a good jump on the restart versus being the second place guy, having to react to the driver on your inside. A little bit harder versus the 13 that can kind of almost ease into the restart. Unlike the guy who starts in second, you see, oh wow, the 88 and the 45 get up into the outside wall there. And Dorian will try to make a move here for this P3 position. Go side by side going to 3 and 4. Oh, 45 in the wall again, huge contact. Wyatt Thompson, big advantage. He's moved himself up into the top 4. Like I said, if I'm the 77, do not use your stuff up here. Trying to pass guys. Now, if Dorian wants to let you have it, as it looks like he will, take it. But do not use your stuff up. You're not going to pit. You cannot abuse these tires early. Everybody getting single file once again. A little bit of battle out back. Zach Case got around to 45 after he got into the outside wall. That is a little 4-car pack here. 66, the 45, the 40, and the 72. Even then, the Brian White and even all the 20 back there kind of leering back there as well. Zach Case trying to use the top lane to get around the 45. He will. He's going to get clear here with the 45, put himself in the P5. This is the closest battles on track I hear is the P5 on back. But those top 4 have kind of separated themselves out. I think they're just trying to get to the end of the stage. Denny Alex underneath the 45 now. That 45 is just struggling ever since he got that outside wall. To keep pace here. We'll be side by side with McDonald. Coming back around 3 and 4. Gio Turpin gonna win your stage 1. Wyatt Thompson gets around TJ Henley to get P2 in stage 1. TJ will run out there in 3rd. Good run for the 13. Wyatt Thompson uses those tires to drive up here in the P2. Zach Case drives up the P5 with those new tires, so the caution will wave here, and Gio Turpin takes stage 1. While we get the opportunity to, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back for pit stops here after stage 1.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
We're back live, and obviously you see those guys who stayed out from that caution coming down pit side. A little bit of a strategy here. But actually we saw some of those guys who came down pit road during the caution come down, top off on fuel, will still win that race off pit road. But Gio Turpin will be TJ Hanley and Dorian Davis, Anthony Alex, Jacob Hoskin will be your top 5 out of those cars who stayed out there on the stage. And Wyatt Thompson obviously came out here, finished P2 in stage 1, will get the race lead. But you have to think that these guys, and he's the only one who stayed out. Everybody else, at the very least, came down and topped off on some Sunoco race fuel. And now you have to think, you know, should Wyatt have stayed out? Should he have followed everybody down pit road and at least topped off, or does he not need to top off? And also, you know, he drove up to P2. He started back then in P7 on that restart. Did he use up his stuff a little bit more than some of these other guys who pitted with him? Looks like some guys sped down pit road. They'll go to the back here. Eli McDonald speeding down pit road. He's one of those guys who was going to start up here towards the front, but sped down pit road. And now that's a really big disadvantage for the 77, because now it's allowed Gio Turpin and TJ Henley to go back up to P2 and P3. So there is no buffer between the slightly older tires of the 77 of Thompson and then brand new freshies of the 42, the 13, and the 88, who are your fast 4. And you see this pace car hook a hard left down on the pit road. And the 77, the 42 is going to lead us back to green to start stage 2. We get a good jump out of the 77 as well as the 13 of Hanley. Five up in an outside wall once again. G Turpin clears back with P2. Better run down the 77 machine. See how aggressive this 42 is going to be. Obviously, he was very aggressive at the start of the race to get the clean air in her, and I think the clean air really helped him pull away to get a good gap there to win stage 1. You know, Wyatt is not just going to pull over, let this 42 go. So here comes the 42 underneath the 77. 77 is going to block. We'll blink out of the 42. Oh, tight. He's going to have to back out. Now 77's holding on pretty well. I mean, he's doing a good job racing a little bit defensively. I think the 42, if he really just wanted to let him go, could have got by him. But you see the 77 trying to keep the race lead here. And I don't mind doing this because obviously sooner or later, we're not gonna have a guaranteed caution for the rest of the race. So if he could keep the lead here, tires will even out if we go long enough here. Here comes the 42 on the bottom. I'm gonna try to fight tough on the top. Now side by side, going into 3 and 4. A little bit of contact between your race leaders. I mean, someone's gonna try to hang it up there on the outside. There's a 42 loose. No, and he's gonna come out and take out the 13. Caution will wave. Oh man. Put salt on the wound there. Gets tagged by the 73 after the fact. Go back and take a look at this. The 42 gets to the inside of the 77. Side by side, a little bit of contact. Running the 3 and 4. You see the 42 just try to drive it off the corner. Hits that bump, gets loose, trying to correct it, and then overcorrects. Grabs the 13. Gets the 45 involved. And you think it's over, but he gasses it up the track here. And the 73 is gonna tag him in the right front. 73 also gets spun around there. And yeah. And I'm not gonna say that's Gio's fault. I mean, that's just how they're, I mean, if you're pushing too hard, that's what happens, right? Fortunately took out a lot of cars with him, but that will be a caution here. See if White decides to stay out here. Yes, he will. So some cars obviously gonna come down pit side, take some damage. Oliver Quinney comes down pit road's that case. A lot of drivers down pit road will actually just go down. Everybody will approach their pit stalls here. Some damage out of the 41. See some tires already for some of these drivers. Like for Quinney, he only ran 10 laps on those tires, but has to take another set here on lap 53. You see a lot of these drivers coming down. They're going to sit down here, try to get some damage fixed. Here's the rest of the field here. The only 4 cars who really are clean. 77, the 88, 84, and the 40 back here. Anthony Alex had a lot of pace last week at Kansas. Unfortunately got caught up in a wreck and eliminated his shot at trying to race for a win, but got a clean car right now, and that is what really you need at Dover. Keep the car clean, try to keep the damage off of it, because any type of, really any steering damage, any suspension damage, any really damage at all on this car at Dover really slows down the pace. It really disturbs the handling of the car as well. So got a clean car, and that's all that matters right now. Wyatt Thompson decides to pick the top lane for this restart. Some of these damaged cars try to catch the field here. Big Paskin, the White Youngblood trying to catch here. They'll come out P3, P9, and P10. Pierre Turpin, TJ Hanley, Benjamin Bushnell, Brandon Kiger, Justin Wilkes still down pit side. But you saw the pit car take the hard left turn on the pit road. Going into the restart zone once again, and Thompson will lead us back to green once again. The 88 spins the tires on the start. Going to give a huge advantage of that top lane. But the biggest advantage for the 77 machine, he's already out almost half a second here on this restart. Everybody's single call for now. We saw some jostling back here. Back case underneath the 73. P6. He'll take it. Our Youngblood underneath the 73 right now as well. I'll be for P7. And he'll also take that spot. Well, I had a good jump, but Oliver Quinty has ran down to 77. Remember, Oliver just came down and took freshies. And even though some of these laps have been into caution, Wyatt Thompson has 26 lap hole tires. So by far the oldest is, oh! Ryan White, I think, gets into the outside, gets loose, gets into the inside wall there. Saves it somehow. We'll save green. Brittany had a run there, but got into the outside wall. Lost some time. See if he can catch back up. But I am super impressed with this 77. As by far the oldest tires, and winning it outside wall again. That'll be a battle here. 40 will easily get around. Going back to Thompson. Super impressed, right? Did the strategy to flip the stage. And I stuck to it, you know. That I made my bet, I'm gonna line it here. And it's kept the lead. All these guys have at least 10 lap fresher tires. He's been able to keep it. Not only that, he's pulling away from the rest of the field. Obviously, Anthony Alex had to negotiate around the 41 who got in that outside wall, but was pulling away a little bit, little by little. Now the 40's starting to run down, the race leader. Single file throughout the field here. Everybody just trying to get into a rhythm. We only have 10 cars right now on the track. Theo Turpin off the track right now. I don't know if maybe he's left the track, like if he's left the sim yet, but with him causing that wreck, it's it took out Hanley, took out Bushnell, and it's shrunk this field down to 10 cars. This 40 is just ever so closely. It's just, about half a tenth a lap has closed in on the 77. To the point where he's getting within the camera shot of the 77 machine on that TV2 cam. And if I'm Wyatt, I'm not going to panic, right? Once again, you have to set up the car for the long run, especially now with only 10 cars on track. There's not going to be a guaranteed caution now with that few amount of drivers. So I'm okay, letting the 40 get up to me now, as long as I'm saving my stuff, saving my equipment. Don't push to get away. Say to get away later, right? That's kind of my motto, especially here at Dover. Lap 6-7 out of 150. Complete here at Dover. A little bit of a battle behind as well. Oliver Quinty getting caught by Kenorian Davis. We saw these two battling it out earlier this race. Quinty trying to hold on, while Kenorian's, the aggressor, trying to pass. Everybody just still single filing out, trying to catch up to the next person. We do have kind of three little mini battles. As Alex has actually caught the back end of the race leader. Obviously, we've been looking at this battle between 41 and 88, and then Wyatt Thompson been ran down by the 84. Brian Wyatt. Brian looks like he just got a little bit more pace in this 84. And look to the inside to make that pass work. Back up here, you see Katorian gonna try to use that higher lane to get the good run off the corner. Try to get back to the rear end of the 41. Katorian using the top. Could get side by side out of 3 and 4 here. Not quite. Nolan trying to be aggressive to get around the 41. I think he knows he's a little bit quicker. Unfortunately, it's hard to pass here at Dover. 41's not going to give you the bottom. You're going to have to try something else to get around them. Here we go. Catching a lap car. That's gonna allow the 88 to get to the back end of the 41. He's gonna get in the back end. What a save by Quinny. I don't think that's the way Kadorian wanted to do it, but makes the pass nonetheless. 88 will set sail. Now all these mini battles that we had have hard to sustain. Obviously we saw Brian White get around Wyatt Youngblood. He's definitely gaffed that machine. Obviously we saw Kadorian put the bumper to the 41 to get around him. And Wyatt Thompson decided to stretch this gap here to your P2 driver of Alex with the older tires. Something you have to look about at Wyatt though is now he's in that 46th lap. He's got to be. I mean, obviously, I'm unsure of what how much fuel you can do here. I guarantee you can go more than 40 laps. But obviously that stage caution was out on lap 40. But obviously, if it goes green here, this. 77's gonna have to pit before everybody else. You know, this is gonna be starting his 48th lap on the since he pitted last, and the next oldest I think is the guys back there in second and third. Who have 36 laps on their stint, so 12 laps more than Alex and Davis. So if it decides to stay green here, that's going to be a talking point that we're going to have to talk about, right? We'll just have to see how long they can go. Because with how the cautions have set up, obviously with the stage caution, with a couple of cautions we had after the stage, it might allow these drivers to just one stop it. The approach, what? 69 to go, I believe. A little bit of a battle here. Is that case? I think Brian White just got around that case, actually. Brian's moving through the field here. Got around the Youngblood, now got around the 66 with a huge shot to the outside wall. Brian's got a lot of work to do to get back up to the P4. Almost a 5-second gap from the 84 back to the 41. Well, up to the 41, technically. Now that's only put 7 cars on the lead lap. Jacob Hoskins went a lap down. Contact between him and the 41. Quinny will get around that lap machine. Everybody, single file. Yeah, the 77 continues to stretch this lead out, and not only 7 cars on the lead lap, 10 on track, and now I think everybody just hoping we can get this race underneath and done with, right? Man, I talked about Thompson, what he needed to do, and he did it, right? He did it to perfection, right? He has older tires, but it's still right now the fastest car on track. The only person who's even within touchable range right now is the guy in P2, running within, I would say a 10th each lap. And everybody else is just out to lunch. You see Quinny with a 23.9 or 23.5 out of the leader. The Youngblood with the 24.4, 26.5 out of goalie. We'll just continue to watch these laps tick down. 77 continues to lead. We'll go through the field here. Brought to you by High Velocity TV. Obviously, we've seen Wyatt Thompson. He's led a good, decent amount of laps here. And then Alex back here in P2. Started back there in the P12 position, so up 10 spots from where he started. Good run for this 40 machine. Noreen Davis back here in P3, about 4.5 seconds off your race leader, Oliver Quinny. Started 4th, currently 4th. Really consistent day out of this 41. Hopefully, he can keep this track position. We have Brian White back here in P5. Pretty quiet day out of this 84 as well. You got Wyatt Youngblood in the 1 machine. Very quiet day for him as well, but looks like he's going to get a top 10 out of this. It'll be a good points day for that 1 machine. And then last, Wyatt Youngblood also a lap down, so now we're down to 5 cars that's on the lead lap. We're still on track. Back there in P7, Gabriel Ngoli in the 55. Jacob Hoskins about to go another lap down. That case. And lastly, Eli McDonald, who got caught up in that wreck with Gio Turpin. Now we approach 58 to go. So I'm looking at this now. Wyatt has gone 63 laps. So we're within that fuel window easily to make it to the end. So whenever these drivers decide they want to pit, I don't know if they can go all the way, without a pit stop, that'd be a question for probably the live stream chat. At the very least, they could make it on one more stop. At the most, I guess. What I meant to say. Thompson is just continuing to pull out further and further as we get to now almost 3 seconds, about 2.5 now to the 40 of Alex. Then another 2.5 back to the 88 of Davis. And another 6 back to P4 of Quinny. While we get the time, everything's kind of slow. Now, obviously, we're in the window for green flag pit stops. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Let our partners over at iRacing talk to you guys for a little bit. And we'll be right back after a word from our partners over at iRacing. The Prestige Cup Series brought to you by Backmarker. Use code PRS10 at checkout for any of your backmarker needs. Admin box, if you guys look for any adminning needs, any hardware for that, make sure to use admin box as your go-to tool. Use code PRS box at checkout. Also brought to you by Team Foster, a nonprofit to help get service dogs to wounded veterans out on track. And also, thank you to 4 Mile Promotion. Use code PRS15 at checkout. Green flag pit stops underway. We just saw Wyatt Thompson come out of his box while we're under commercial. Everybody has come down and pit besides that case in the 66 machine. Puts himself back on the lead lap. So a lucky caution would help this 66 stay on the lead lap. And I'll bring it up. The 6 cars now on the lead lap. So this 66 decides to pit. 16 laps on these tires, so I think he can go all the way theoretically if he wants to. So we'll have to see if the 66 can. See the 66, a lot of pressure from the 41. Oliver Quinney on those fresh Goodyear tires. Gonna make the pass. Damage on both those machines, but Quinney with the fresher tires can easily get around. That was your closest battle on track, but he's already almost a second ahead of that 66 now. So go back up to your race leader. 4.5 second gap to Anthony Alex. They both pitted on that same lap 5 laps ago on lap 40. What? 5 laps ago with 50 to go. My apologies. So on lap 100, they decided to take those cars down pit side. And Dorian Davis back within a second. Anthony Alex. Decided to negotiate around the lap car of White Youngblood. Get that 40 up ahead there. So, and Dorian pitted a lap later than these guys, so he does have a lap fresher tire. 1 lap fresher tires. I don't know if that's going to be enough of an advantage to really get him to get up there and race for the Speed 2 spot, but it's closing the gap here within a second now. But hopefully Dorian isn't using this stuff up to get back up to the 40. He's trying to run around right now. I don't really think he's pushing right now. I honestly don't. Compared to that 88. I definitely think the 40 knows that they've got to go 50 laps on these tires and is content just kind of finding a pace, settling in, and just sticking with it for the rest of the race here. I mean, that's how you get good finishers. That's how you come out here, get consistent podiums, race for wins. You're not getting, I would say, everything out of the car right off the bat. Manage the car, manage the pace, and then you'll have the pace at the end, right? That's where that long run speed comes in. Is by just managing the pace, settling in, and just trying to find a rhythm. Dorian, on the other hand, has been consistently faster every lap now. About half a tenth quicker that lap. You're going to continue to reel in this driver. So 36 to go here from Dover. Continue to see it. I mean, by far Wyatt Thompson's best race, at least up to this point. Obviously needs to finish it out. 36 laps, a long way still out from the end of this race, but we haven't really seen this kind of dominance in a long time out of Wyatt Thompson. So, I mean, and I'm happy to see it, you know. Thompson still, you know, running. Last lap was a 23.3, and the fastest time besides that was, I think it was Kenorin back here with the 23.5. So still running 0.2 quicker. And once, like I said, that 40 ran within 2/1000ths of the 88. So I hope that 88 didn't use the stuff up to try to get back. It looks like that 40 starting. It looks like that tire was starting to even out a little bit. Deacon Dorian moving to the top, trying to get a little bit more pace out of this 88 machine. you guys are wondering, just obviously we do have playoff baseball going on. We have the NFL going on tonight, Thursday Night Football, Eagles versus the Giants. Eagles go to MetLife Stadium, and right now are actually down to the New York Giants. The 1-4 New York Giants up 27-17 in the third quarter. And you can see that down below on the sports sticker there. And man, what a race by Wyatt Thompson. Like, he's on pace to lap everybody but the top four. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get to Winnie. Winnie's running still pretty decent lap times. At 23.5s to Wyatt's 23.4s, so... But this driver is lapped all the way up to P4. That case, Brian White, White Youngblood, Gabriel Gully, all great drivers. And he said, nah, not good enough tonight. We might have a little battle out here. Brian White trying to get around Zach Case. They also have Kenorian Davis trying to negotiate around these two lap cars. And then we'll get around the 66. I'll let that 84 try to reel in the 66 machine. And Brian White, I'll say this, hasn't had the overall pace, but has had phenomenal long run pace. He's been, I feel like, the biggest mover on these long runs to come up and get around cars. This is the part of Dover that I love. Did you see that corner there, right there, that he just did? Showed you like how patient you have to be with the car. That's how he tried to drive it in, tried to get it on the outside of the 66 and overdrove the corner. Literally just had to wait on it. Once again, he's going to do it again right here. Just has to wait on it. Even though he might have the potential to have a better corner, the 66 is of Zach. Just kind of lets it roll on the bottom, and he's like getting a little bit of a better exit. Oh, the 66! A little bit of contact. And this is for the top 5, so even though they're laps down, this is a crucial spot. Both in the playoffs. You know, Brian is further down than Zach. Brian needs to spot more than Zach if he wants a chance. Oh man, you see Zach. I thought Brian had his nose in there, and we saw Zach just continuing to chop it off there. Stick it in there once again. 66 will chop off the nose. And good racing out here for the top 5 spot. once again, I mean, you know, you talked about aero blocking. This is, I mean, this is a great example of how the aero affects these cars, right? See Brian just having to wash up the track just because of the dirty air that the 66 is putting on him. Finally, the 84 is going to try to get side by side here. One in a 3 and 4. Dak's not going to give it up too easily, though. Side by side going to 1 and 2. Finally, the 84 is going to get around. Going back across the line. Give him the spot. You could tell, I mean, and good for Brian, right? Trying to be patient. Obviously, you saw he kind of tapped the 66 a little bit, but not enough to upset Zach's car or anything else like that. Just enough to say, like, hey, like, come on. Like, I'm a little bit quicker. Just let me go, right? You know, I talked about Oliver Quinney. I thought he had the pace to stay on the lead lap. He just got lapped by Wyatt Thompson. And now all but the top 3 one lap down here with 60 to go at Dover. So Thompson out here 5 and a 6. Like, yeah, I really don't know what to talk about. I mean, we have a car who's been dominant. Anthony Alex back here 6 seconds off the pace, and you have King Dorian, who I expected would use this stuff up. It's like proved me right. He's fallen off the back end of this 40 machine. Now almost 2.5 seconds behind P2. 8 seconds behind the leader. So I mean, it's just, I'll just say it again. It's impressive what Wyatt has done, right? He got the lead because he stayed out on old tires, right? And kept the lead. Not only did he stay out and get the lead, he kept it this whole time, right? Kept the lead, pitted with older tires, forced the 40 to come down with him, which gave him equal tires, right? And then just pulled away for the rest of the field. I mean, I feel bad for Gio. I think he had a good car. I think he probably had the best car in the field. I would have been interested to see what Gio could have done here. And unfortunately, you know, Gio made a mistake. He only handed this race over to the 77 of Wyatt Thompson. This will be huge in the points for him, obviously. I think he missed last week at Kansas, so I mean, it's still going to be an uphill battle for Wyatt to claim his championship here, but especially with Dorian Davis sitting back there in third. Like, obviously, Dorian would love to be up here leading this race, but coming out here with the top 3, definitely gonna not hurt in the points wise. We're coming down to it. Under 10 laps to go here for the 77. Just got to finish out these last couple laps and get his first win of the season in the Prestige Cup Series. Coming back around, he's going to be taking the 5 to go. 5 laps to go for this 77 machine. To cap it into a dominating race out of Wyatt Thompson and the 77, this Frost Motorsports machine. Four to go here. Everybody's kind of spread out from each other, so I don't see any way we get a caution here. So Wyatt's just got to get back here to the white flag lap. Coming back around to take 3 to go. And it's just an impressive. I mean, he's still the fastest car on track. 23.5 to 23.8 to 23.6. Did a masterful job with the tire wear, keeping the car on the track, just having that finesse he needs to continue to build lap time. Some lap cars ahead here. The 66 right in front as Wyatt Thompson will take the white flag. In from Dover. Going into 3 and 4 for the final time. And Wyatt Thompson going to put a pin in this race. He's going to come out here and dominate here at Dover. And the Alex will come home P2. Kidori Davis P3. P4 to Oliver Courtney. B5 to Brian White. That case P6. P7 goes to Brian. The Gabriel goalie. Eli McDonald. White Youngblood. Jacob Hoskin do top 10. A little bit of a congratulatory bump out of his teammate in the 1 machine. The 77. I'll get here on the front stretch. There you go. He's going to start to burn it down here on the front stretch for you paying the home. Oh. Little kiss on the front end. No matter now. Continue with the burner down with his teammates. 1, 2, 3 for you know, a Mach 5 Racing, Frost Motorsports, that partnership we've seen. I mean, look at tonight, right? Let's go ahead and talk to him while he's burning it down. Hey, White, it's Christian up here in HVTV booth. You got a copy? Well, I mean, what a dominating performance out of you in the 77. You know, obviously, I thought maybe that 42 had something for you with those newer tires, but fortunately made a mistake, and fortunately causing a caution and taking himself out of the race. But, you know, walk us through your race. Walk us through what got you up here in the victory lane.
It all started with a dumb call not to take tires, but it worked out for us somehow. Just the soft tires helped a lot with that. I just got lucky enough to be able to defend until their fall off worked. And I think they got held up by a few lap cars, and I was just able to keep pace. I'm kind of happy with my performance. And also, shout out to Wyatt Youngblood. he he had 3 tire blowouts. We're gonna send out a couple prayers to his right fronts over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw that, and I mean, it's something with this new update with over the right front and just gets blown off if you overdrive the car here. But talk about with that strategy to stay out, and when it came down to it, right, what you needed to do was to kind of mitigate the damage until like the tire wear kind of evened out, and that's exactly what you did. And obviously, not only did you keep the lead, right? I mean, it forced that second place driver of Anthony Alex to come down pit road with you. And after you came down pit road with him, did you really think you had it kind of locked up there?
I I really was nervous that there's going to be another caution there. I think I was good on strategy because with Ken being behind him or just getting in front of him and overcutting a little bit, they got right back side by turn 3, and I was just trying to keep myself from blowing out the right front. And I really got super lucky with this dirty air model on the next gen. As much as it sucks, it did help me tonight, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the dirty air a lot during the broadcast, just because it's definitely changed the way that you have to race here, especially at a track like Dover where you have to use up really the whole track to run a good lap time here. But coming home with your first win of the season here for the Prestige Cup Series, obviously a great time to do it here in the playoffs. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank here for this win tonight?
I want to thank Youngblood and Ken for being in the call, just kind of hanging out, keeping entertainment. I thank Project Victoria, Frost Motorsports, and 4 Mile, our sponsors. 4 Mile does great graphic design. If you want to scheme, they're really good at it. And I just appreciate you for streaming. I'll go back and watch it. All my family will. So
Well, we appreciate the kind words up here in the HVTV booth. But once again, congratulations here, your first win of the season here at Dover.
appreciate it. Love you, man.
That was your race winner, Kendorian David. Wyatt Thompson. I don't see Anthony Alex. Oh, there's Anthony. Here he is, right here up in the booth. Let's go ahead and rewind the replay a little bit so we can get some footage of 40 machine running some laps. We'll go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher here, Alex, in 1 moment. Hey Anthony, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, but not probably as good as you. I mean, a P2 finish, obviously, that 77 was on rails all night, but coming home in P2, can't complain about that, especially being a kind of a newer guy here to the Prestige Cup Series, trying to make a name for yourself. But walk us through your race. Walk us through really what got you up here in this podium spot.
Just tire saving and staying out of the trouble. A lot of those wrecks happened coming out of corners and stuff like that. Avoided the big ones.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it, and it's something we talked about, right? We saw a lot of, you know, competitive cars, get caught up in wrecks just by being over aggressive. We saw the 42 self spin, fortunately taking out the 13 and a couple cars there. And then it's something we documented on the broadcast that here comes, Anthony. He's got a clean car, and that's really all you need to do. Come out here and get a good finish for yourself. And stay out here, with a clean car, because obviously, Dover, when you get that damage, it just really affects the way this car drives. Whether it's steering damage or suspension damage, it in my opinion, the car is already pretty difficult to drive when without damage, at less with. So, but
Absolutely.
going back into, I want to talk to you a little bit about the dirty air. Obviously you got up there, tried to battle with Wyatt. Obviously you battled with Ken a little bit there during your run here. How bad or how much does that dirty air, especially here at a track like Dover, affect the way this car drives?
I couldn't keep the car going in the right direction. I kept on pushing me up, getting super tight, and it killed my right front.
Yeah, and then going back onto that is what tools in the box do you drivers have to kind of mitigate that? Do you guys just have to try to search around on a line that the other
Yeah,
drivers are at, or you just kind of have to like back up
Exactly.
the corners, or yeah. I just feel
A
like
little bit of all
yeah,
everything.
yeah. I mean,
Got to back up the corner, try to run a lane higher. If you can get lower, just try to find something that stay out of the air at least for a little while to get the car rotated.
it definitely seemed like, and I saw that from time to time there, a lot of drivers experimenting, going up to the wall, trying to arc it down, trying to get a good run off the going down the back, and it was working a little bit, but I just really feel like it, when you're not running that bottom, it kind of burns off your stuff, and like everybody says, clean air is king. It seems like that's what helped that 77 get the victory lane here. But before we let you go, Alex, I mean, is there anybody you want to thank here for your P2 finisher tonight at Dover?
My teammate Hoskins. Too bad he couldn't finish the race. He's very fast everywhere he goes. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the 45 looking pretty quick here, obviously qualified up there in the front row, but that's just kind of with it. That's Dover for you. Get caught up in some stuff out of your time. But once again, Anthony, congrats on this P2 finish. Hopefully, we can continue to talk up here in a broadcast, but maybe with you a couple spots higher.
Absolutely. We'll get her done.
Yep. Have a good rest of the night.
You too.
That was your P2 finisher. Anthony Alex there coming home P3, and we'll go ahead and talk to Kendorian Davis, your P3 finisher. Looked like he had promising speed, just could not get it done again tonight. We'll talk to you last week's winner. Hey, Ken, it's Christian up in the HV2 booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Oh, coming home P3. He got Dover, obviously. Had a pretty decent car. Obviously, I don't think anybody had anything for Wyatt once he got out there in that clean air. But, coming home with the P3 finish, can't complain, especially with you fighting for a championship. P3, good points day for you, but walk us through your race. Walk us through, really overall your race in general.
Well, in qualifying, I mean, with this car, once again, just like at Kansas, I knew dirty air was going to be a huge factor. We, well, I once again dropped the ball in qualifying, and I knew that was going to be my downfall. I really, the car was not good in dirty air. I could not go anywhere. I was just stuck. I knew I had to try to do something to try to get clean air, but I mean, it never worked. Wyatt played a very interesting strategy, and it really it really worked out in his favor. Congrats to him on the win. But yeah, we may have had something for him if we could have just got clean air. We may have had something.
Yeah, we talked about the cleaner, and I talked about it with Wyatt and with Anthony, who we talked to before you. And I mean, they really praised the clean air. Obviously, Wyatt with the clean air really. I mean, he said he liked the way the car drove, obviously, because he's got the clean air. But talking about that, right? Um, when he flipped the stage, right? I mean, that's really the turning point in that 77's race was flipping the stage to get that clean air. Do you really think that like the tire wear or like the clean air was really that more beneficial than having? I think he had 15 lap older tires.
In this case, the clean air definitely benefited him. It definitely outweighed the need for fresher tires in this case. And a lot of us always think that four fresh tires are just gonna make us fly. And it's not always the case. I mean, sometimes we have to try to take a gamble, try to play with the air a bit, try to play with the arrow, try to be on defense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about defense and we saw. I mean, White did a good job defending, and yeah, and then something you have to think about as well is with the when you take four tires, you have to warm them up now with the next gen, and obviously we saw Geo Turpin, right, have an issue with the cold tires, unfortunately causing a caution, taking some cars out with him, taking not only cars but some competitive cars himself. TJ looked like he had some good pace. The 45 looked like he had a decent pacing as well as the 85 of Kiger. All looked pretty quick, but that's just part of the game of Dover is keeping that car clean. Obviously, you did here coming home with a P3 finish.
Yeah, but it was. I can see it. It definitely wasn't easy, and it sucks that Gio and all those other fast guys got took out. What's been a fun, interesting battle, but eh,
Yeah, I mean, coming home P3. I mean, obviously everybody wants to win, but with you race for a championship, I think like points racing is really something especially when I'm running for championship, you have to look at, especially here in the chase style format. We're not doing the playoffs, we're not doing the rounds, right? It's the next races are gonna decide that you're champion. Obviously, you coming in here with the 25-point lead, coming here P3 isn't a bad finish for you at all. To hopefully continue to extend this points gap. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank here for this last podium spot here at Dover?
Oh yeah, I definitely like to shout out my good friend and teammate Wyatt Thompson for the win. Everybody over at Frost Motorsports, Mach 5 Racing, you guys for doing the stream, and a lot of my other good friends out there watching. This was a pretty interesting race. Dover's not one of my better tracks, but I'm happy to come out with a P3 for the championship hunt and to get this experience.
Yeah, definitely a fast car for you in the 88. But go ahead, drag you back, get ready for next week, and once again, congratulations on that P3 finish.
Yeah, thank you.
That was your top three for tonight's race. Obviously, we just talked to Kenorian Davis, Anthony Alex, and Wyatt Thompson, your race winner. Congratulations to the 77 for his first win of the season. And we'll get ready to get your post-race show started here from Dover Motor Speedway. We'll go ahead and take a look at your unofficial race results here from Dover. Obviously, we just saw Wyatt Thompson victorious from Dover, Anthony Alex P2, and Noreen Davis. We just talked to him running at that P3, and your only drivers in on the lead lap. Obviously, a lot of these guys for their own bad cats and damage had to just limp it around. Oliver Quinney comes home P4, Brian White P5, Zach Case in that 66 will come home 6th. Gabriel Ngoli P7, Eli McDonald in that 73 will come home P8, Wyatt Youngblood 9th, and Jacob Hoskins got wrecked early, will come home 10th. Running out the rest of the field here. Out early, Gio Turpin, TJ Hanley, Benjamin Bushnell, Brandon Kiger, and Justin Wilkes getting caught up in wrecks earlier this race. But I mean, what a race! Obviously, not our most exciting one, but there was a lot of different strategy. Obviously, we saw the 77 with the strategy to stay out there, to end stage one. Ultimately, got him the lead, leading 101 out of the 150 laps, and the strategy was really cool to call. And unfortunately, towards the end there, I mean, we're just kind of waiting on that 77 to get to the start finish line. To finish us out here from Dover, week 3 of the Prestige Cup Series playoffs. But once again, my name was Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race. We might have someone new for next week. If not, we unfortunately might not be able to broadcast next week at Michigan, as I will be out of the state. I'll be actually going to the Talladega race in real life. So hopefully we can find someone to fill in for me to get this Thursday race underway. I love following these prestige races, but unfortunately I can't be home. I can't call a race. I might have a way to do it from another location, but I'm definitely going to try my best to get you guys out this broadcast. But once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator. If you like the stream, if you like the broadcast, if you like what we're doing, please hit that thumbs up on the YouTube side so get the broadcast out into the algorithm. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are really growing. We're trying to grow as much as we can. We're kind of been stuck around this 250-ish subscriber mark. I'd really appreciate the follow or the subscription over on YouTube. But once again, you watched a High Velocity TV reduction of the Prestige Cup Series here from Dover. Hope everybody has a great rest of the night. We'll be back on tomorrow for the AWC Pro Series as they start their playoffs at Indy. Once again, hope everybody has a great rest of your Thursday night. We'll see you guys soon.